Okay. So unit 2, Ind AS 10, events after the reporting period. Okay. Now, what are exactly the events after the reporting period? We have to understand. And how they are to be accounted. That is what the standard says. Very interesting and easy standard. Very simple. So there are three objectives of this standard that we need to understand. So first of all, this standard is giving us guidelines. Okay. So there are three guidelines. That is the three objectives of the standard are. Firstly, guidelines for taking a decision regarding adjusting or non-adjusting the financial statements, adjusting or not adjusting the financial statements for the events after the reporting period. Generally, they are called adjusting or non-adjusting events. So this standard will help you take decisions about events that have happened after the reporting period. After the reporting period is basically the reporting period ends on 31st March every year. Basically, the financial year ends on 31st March. So any event happening after 31st March when we close the books, but before the board approves the financial statements. Generally, there is a time gap between the year end and the approval of the board. The board has to approve the financial statements. That is one of the functions of the board. And after approving, they have to lay it in front of the AGM after they are audited. First, board has to approve, the auditor will audit them, and then they will be laid in front of the AGM in front of the shareholder for their approval. So the events after the reporting period means the events that have taken place after the end of the reporting period, but before or up to the date of approval of the statements by the board. That's it, not by the shareholder. So we have to see whether the events have to be adjusted in the financial statements that have happened after the date, but before the board has approved them, or not adjust them. So it depends upon the rules they have given whether to adjust or not. So based on that, they are called adjusting events, not adjusting events. So now, right now, we are just talking about events. Any event that is happening after the reporting period, that is from the period after 31st March and up to the approval of the statements by the board. So we are talking about those events. Whether they are adjusting or non-adjusting, we'll see ahead. Guidelines regarding the disclosures. Obviously, the events have to be disclosed properly. Guidelines regarding disclosures that an entity should give about the date when the financial statements were approved for issue and about the events after the reporting period. Disclosure guidelines about these events. Guidelines when the going concern assumption is no longer appropriate. The third important objective of the standard is also to check the going concern assumption, because there might be an event that has occurred after the balance sheet date, that is after the reporting period is over, which might affect the going concern. So if there is an event that has occurred after the balance sheet date, but before the board has approved the statements, that can affect the going concern assumption, like a pandemic that started in March, or a pandemic that started in April after the 31st March. So obviously this year also, most of the companies must have made a going concern assumption because their reporting period ended on 31st March and the effect of the pandemic started after April, let's assume. That is after the reporting date. So before the board approves, the pandemic has struck. So they will have to evaluate whether they are going concerns or not. And many of the companies might not be going concern. So if they are not going concern, then they cannot present their financial statements as if they are going concern. They have to change the accounting. Generally, it is presented on liquidation basis. Liquidation basis is basically what is the value of assets if sold immediately, what is the actual amount of liabilities that you can pay right now. So it will be recorded on current values. What if the assets are sold immediately? All the liabilities will become current liabilities because you are no more a going concern. So you will have to sell off all the assets, pay off the liabilities, and shut shop. So the accounting will change. So basically, after reporting date, if some event happens and it is affecting going concern, you should change the accounting. If it is not affecting going concern, then no problem. Then you can continue. As you know, going concern is a very important assumption. So guidelines regarding when the going concern assumption is no longer appropriate. The standard requires that an entity should not prepare its financial statements on going concern basis, which you normally prepare, if events after the reporting period indicate that a going concern assumption is no longer appropriate. Things might happen, like there is a fire in the factory, the whole factory is burnt, or government changes the policy, which affects you adversely. So these can be events which can affect the going concern, or a war starts. Okay, because reasons can be many, or you lose a major project, which was your only project, like that. Okay, so that was the objective. Now scope. Scope basically talks about two things: accounting and disclosure. So accounting for events after reporting period, disclosure of events after reporting period. Now let's understand what are the events after reporting period that they have explained. Events after reporting period are those events, they can be favorable or unfavorable. Even favorable events can be there, that occur between the end of the reporting period, that is 31st March, the end of the financial year, after that, and date when the financial statements are approved. Who approves them? Board. Not up to the approval by the shareholders, not up to the AGM, only the approval of the board. The financial statements, so see the example. The financial year of an entity ends on 31st March 2002. Okay. If the board of directors approves the statements on 15th May, so the events after the reporting period will be the period between 31st March to 15th May. That will be the period after the reporting period. And any event happening between that time will be events after the reporting period. So if events are happening after 15th May, we won't say they are events happening after the reporting period. Generally, there is a standard on audit also on this. Subsequent events करके एक standard है. Okay. So it is also based on that. So if the board of directors approves the financial statements on 15th May 2002, after the reporting period will be the period between 31st March and 15th May. So after the reporting period, ये जो हा जो period है, it will be 31st March to 15th May. And events occurring during this period should be considered as events after the reporting period. So आपण जे events after the reporting period करतो ना, after the reporting म्हणजे कुठचे events नाही, त्याला लिमिट असणार की 31st March पासून बोर्ड अप्रुव्हल पर्यंत. ह्याच्यामध्ये जे इव्हेंट्स होतात दॅट इज इव्हेंट्स आफ्टर द रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड. इथे अप्रुव्हल ऑफ दिलंय, अप्रुव्हल ऑफ फायनान्शियल स्टेटमेंट्स, पण लॉजिकली आपण इथे इंडेस समजतोय. इंडेस मध्ये वी आर डीलिंग विथ कंपनीज ओनली. तो बोर्डच असणार. तिने दिलंय की कंपनी असेल तर काय वगैरे. सो इट इज द बोर्ड. द बोर्ड विल अप्रूव्ह. पार्टनरशिप असेल तर पार्टनर्स वगैरे जेव्हा अप्रूव्ह करतील तेव्हा वगैरे असं. पण बेसिकली वी आर कन्सिडरिंग द बोर्ड हियर. We'll see the illustration. Basic question. What is the date of approval for issue of financial statements prepared for the reporting period? So you just have to tell me the date of approval. The financial statements, the reporting period is 1st April 2001 to 31st March 2000. This is the financial year. In a situation where the following dates are available. So तुम्हाला dates दिलेत. Tell me what is the approval date. So what is the events occurring after the reporting period? The after the reporting period जो आहे, what is the period? Completion of preparation of financial statements was on May 20th, 2002. So the financial statements were prepared on 28th May. After the obviously लगेच क्या prepare होणार नाही. 31st मला the year संपले. So you complete on 28th May. Board reviews and approves it on 19th June. Then available to shareholders on 1st July. AGM happens on 15th September. Filed with regulatory authority like ROC 16th October. Will your answer differ if the entity is a partnership firm? Now, we are only concerned with this date. Board reviews and approves it on 19th June. Our period after the reporting date will be from 31st March to 19th June. That is it. Okay. If it was a partnership firm, then whenever the partners approve. So assuming in case of board, there are partners, 19th June. So as per Ind AS 10, the date of approval for issue of financial statements is the date on which the financial statements are approved by the board of directors in case of company and by the corresponding approving authority in case of any other entity. If it's a partnership firm, then that authority, that partners. But we are mostly dealing with company here. Accordingly, in the instant case, the date of approval is the date on which the statements are approved by the board. That is 19th June. They are saying in case the entity is a partnership firm, the date of approval will be the date when the relevant approving authority of such entity approves the financial statements for issue. That is the date when the partners of the firm approve the financial statement. Let's assume that instead of board, there are partners. So 19th June. Are you understanding this concept? Are you understanding the reporting period or after the reporting period? Very good. Okay, let's see illustration 2. ABC Limited prepared interim financial report for the quarter ending 30th June. आता हा स्टँडर्ड जो आहे तो आपण कसा बघितला की पहिला तर रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड बघितला आपण पूर्ण वर्ष एप्रिल टू मार्च आणि मग आफ्टर द रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड दॅट इज 31st मार्च पासून द डेट ऑफ अप्रूव्हल बाय द बोर्ड हे तुम्हाला कळलेलं आहे. आता रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड दरवेळी पूर्ण वर्ष असेल असं नाही. तुम्हाला माहिती आहे लिस्टेड कंपनीज हॅव टू पब्लिश देअर क्वार्टरली स्टेटमेंट्स ॲज वेल. तसं आपण इंटरिम फायनान्शियल स्टेटमेंट्स म्हणून आपण बघितलेलं स्टँडर्ड. सो जर त्यांनी इंटरिम फायनान्शियल स्टेटमेंट्स बनवलेत मे बी क्वार्टरली, तर अशा वेळी मग रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड विल बी दॅट क्वार्टर ओनली. आणि आफ्टर द रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड विल बी फ्रॉम द एंड ऑफ द इंटरिम जो पिरियड आहे, म्हणजे फॉर एक्झाम्पल इंटरिम पिरियड असेल एप्रिल टू जून, एप्रिल मे जून, ठीक आहे. इंटरिम पिरियड फर्स्ट क्वार्टर आहे, एप्रिल मे जून. सो व्हॉट इज द एंड ऑफ द रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड? 30th जून. आता हे पण स्टेटमेंट बोर्ड अप्रूव्ह करणार. तर सपोज बोर्ड अप्रूव्ह देम ऑन 30th August, 31st August. Okay. So events after the reporting period or the period after the reporting period will be 30th June to 30th August. So कारण इथे रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड इंटरिम आहे, तो इंटरिम पिरियडचं पण आफ्टर द रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड आपल्याला बघायला लागतं. कारण स्टँडर्ड मध्ये असं नाही म्हटलंय की रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड पूर्ण वर्षच पाहिजे. एनी रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड. So any period for which the statements are published and then are approved. So events after the reporting period will be from the end of the reporting period, whatever is the reporting period, quarterly, 6 monthly, yearly, तिथपासून ते अप्रूव्ह ऑफ द बोर्ड ते बघायचं. तर मग त्याच्यात पण आपल्याला जे इव्हेंट्स होतात या गॅपमध्ये 30th जून टू 30th ऑगस्ट, त्याच्यात बघायला लागेल की ऍडजस्टिंग नॉन ऍडजस्टिंग. So ABC Limited prepared interim financial report for the quarter ending 30th June 2001. The interim financial report was approved for issue to the shareholders by the board of directors on 15 July. कधी अप्रूव्ह झाला? 15 जुलै. So the period after the reporting period किती आहे? 30th June to 15 July. Whether events occurring between the end of the interim financial report and the date of approval of board of directors, that is events between 1st July and 15 July, that provide evidence of conditions that existed at the end of the interim reporting period shall be adjusted in the interim financial report ending 30th June 2001. So they are saying ki the events which have took place in between that period, which are just providing additional evidence of the situations that existed on the balance sheet date. On the balance sheet date, nahi, 30th June, as on 30th June. म्हणजे काय की for example, there are some events, something like we already knew by 30th June that a debtor had incurred some huge loss. And so already on 30th June, during that quarter only, we knew that some debtor has incurred some major loss because of some natural calamity or something, like earthquake happened in his area and all that. So he has incurred some huge loss. And on between this period, that is 1st July to 15th July, we understood that he became bankrupt. So whenever a subsequent event, that is the event happening after the reporting period, gives additional information about something you already knew on the reporting date, you have to adjust that in the financial statements. Then you have to adjust. That is called adjusting event, right? Which we'll be studying later. But here they have given, that is why I'm explaining, that if the event that has happened between period after the reporting period gives additional information about something you already knew was going to happen, then you adjust the statements. Otherwise, don't adjust. Otherwise, you'll just disclose if it's material. So here they're asking if some events have taken place. So yes, definitely we have to adjust because these are also events occurring after the balance, after the reporting period, not balance sheet date, the reporting period. Because even interim period is considered. For that period, for that quarterly report, we need to adjust. Or it was a totally new event that happened, then don't adjust, just disclose if it's material. Events after the reporting period are those events, favorable and unfavorable, that occur between the end of the reporting period. So they have just said, they have not said end of the balance sheet period or end of the balance sheet date or end of the financial year. They have just said end of the reporting period. So reporting period can be any period for which you have presented the statements. So end of the reporting period and the date when the statements are approved by the board in case of company, and obviously corresponding approving authority in case of other entity like partners in case of partnership form. What is reporting period has not dealt with in Ind AS 10. So exactly the reporting period is not given, whether it is a year or something. They have just said the word reporting period. Absence of any specific guidance regarding reporting period implies that any term for which reporting is done by preparing financial statements is the reporting period for purpose of Ind AS. So for any period for which you are making a statement is the reporting period. So it can be 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 9 months also is there. Normally they prepare quarterly or 6 monthly, 9 monthly, 12 monthly. Accordingly, financial reporting done for interim period by preparing either complete set of statements or by preparing condensed statements. We already know interim financial statements that condensed statement also can be made, like you don't present everything. Okay, will be treated as reporting period for the purpose of Ind AS 10. So this will be reporting period like quarter. Ind AS 34, among other things, provides that each report, annual or interim, is evaluated on its own for conformity with Ind AS. We know that even interim financial statements we prepare have to conform with the Ind AS. They have to evaluate separately. Further, Ind AS 34 provides, 34 is the interim financial statements, provides that an interim financial report shall not be described as complying with Ind AS unless it complies with all the requirements of Ind AS. So the auditor can also audit it, and unless it complies with all Ind AS, he will not say it is complying with Ind AS. Rather, the management should say that. In accordance with above, an entity describing that its interim financial report is in compliance with Ind AS has to comply with all the Ind AS, including Ind AS 10. So when the entity says that we have completed all Ind AS, comply with Ind AS 10 also, that is events happening after the reporting period. Also, you need to adjust or not adjust or disclose. In order to comply with the requirements of Ind AS 10, each interim financial report should be adjusted for adjusting events occurring between the end of the financial report and date of approval. Therefore, in the instant case, events occurring between 1st July and 15th July that provide evidence of conditions that existed at the date at the end of the reporting period should be adjusted in the interim financial report ending 30th June 2001. As they have said ki they are providing additional information about things that already occurred on the 30th June till the end of the reporting period have to be adjusted. These are adjusting events. Otherwise, they would have been non-adjusting. We'll see that what are adjusting, what are non-adjusting. So definitely treat that period also as a reporting period, and the period after that period up to the date of approval by the board will be period after the reporting period. So any event happening in that period, you have to adjust or disclose. The board of directors of ABC approved the statements for the reporting period 1-2 for issue on 15th June 2002. They are supposed to issue 15 June to shareholders. The management of ABC discovered a major fraud and decided to reopen the books of accounts. So after the year ended, now management discovered a big fraud, and sorry, I read it wrong. I'll read it again. The board of directors of ABC approved. They were saying approved. This is approval data. Sorry. The board of directors of ABC approved the statements for the reporting period 1-2 for issue on 15 June. For issue. There should have been some comma there. Actually, the board of directors approved the statements for the reporting period 1-2 for issue on 15 June 2000. That is what they are saying. So they are approved on 15 June. Okay. The reason is to issue, obviously. So reporting period is 1-2 and board has approved on 15 June. But after they approved that, okay, normally this is our period after the reporting date. Okay. So normally we would have said 31st March to 15 June. These are the events happening after the balance sheet date or after the reporting date. But after that, they said that management of ABC discovered a major fraud and decided to reopen the books of accounts. So they have again opened the books to look into the fraud. The statements were subsequently approved by the board on 30th June. So after making the changes, after making all the corrections, adjusting the fraud and all that, maybe reducing the profit and all that, everything. So they might have understood that there is a cash missing or there is a theft, some major money is missing, like that. Some transactions are fake. So after correcting everything, they again approved on 30th June. So basically what happened, 15th June they had approved, then they must have prepared fresh set of financial statements and again they approved on 30th June. So in such a case, now date of approval will be the second date because they reworked everything. Second date. So in this case, you will say 31st March to 30th June. Okay, that is the second date of approval. So the question is, what is the date of approval for issue as per Ind AS 10 in the given case? It will 30th June. Date of approval is the date on which the statements are approved by the board of directors in case of company. In the given case, there are two dates of approval by the board. The statements were reopened for further adjustment subsequent to initial approval. So first approval was 15 June, then they reopened. The date of approval should be taken as the date on which the final statements are finally approved by the board. So final kadi ready zali for that year, 30th June, and then approve केले. Therefore, in the given case, the date of approval for issue as per Ind AS 10 should be considered as 30th June. The period after the reporting date will be this period, 31st March, 30th June. So any events happening between that date will be events happening after the reporting period. आता आपण आलो टाइप्स ऑफ इव्हेंट्स वर. मग एक प्रश्न इकडे त्यांनी विचारला की शुड द कंपनी रिपोर्ट ओनली अनफेवरेबल इव्हेंट्स. असं काही नाही, फेवरेबल अनफेवरेबल दोन्हीचा आपण करतो, आयदर ऍडजस्ट करतो किंवा डिस्क्लोज करतो नुसतं. आता बघा ऍडजस्टिंग इव्हेंट्स मगाशी आपण डिस्कस केलं की दीज आर बेसिकली इव्हेंट्स हॅपनिंग आफ्टर द रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड. Those that provide evidence of conditions that existed at the end of the reporting period. Adjusting events after the reporting period. So हे असे इव्हेंट्स आहेत which are providing just additional evidence. मगाशी बोललो डेटर became bankrupt, ऑलरेडी आपल्याला आयडिया आलेली. नॉन ऍडजस्टिंग इव्हेंट्स बेसिकली टोटली न्यू इव्हेंट्स, म्हणजे ह्याच्यावर काही आपल्याला आयडियाच नव्हती, टोटल नवीन नवीन, मग आपण ऍडजस्ट करत नाही. सो ॲज ऑन द एंड ऑफ द रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड आपल्याला आयडियाच नव्हती, म्हणजे 31 मार्च पर्यंत आपल्याला आयडियाच नव्हती असं काय होणार आहे. सो दोज आर दॅट indicative of conditions, those that are indicative of conditions that arose after the reporting period. So totally नवीन condition आहे. So they are indicative of conditions that arose after the reporting period. We didn't have any clue about them. So हे नॉन ऍडजस्टिंग आहे. हा, पण हे मटेरियल असेल तर मग डिस्क्लोज. जसं की फॉर एक्झाम्पल इव्हन 31 मार्च झाली, डेट झाली, तुम्ही सपोज अप्रूव्ह केलं 30 जूनला मग अशा एक्झामचं, मध्येच या पिरियडच्या मध्ये म्हणजे सपोज मे मध्ये फॅक्टरीला आग लागली, अख्खी फॅक्टरी जाऊन गेली, ह्याच्यामध्ये दे से की डोंट ऍडजस्ट, कारण हे टोटली नवीन इव्हेंट आहे. पण ऑब्व्हियसली मटेरियल आहे, फॅक्टरी जळली आहे, नोट मध्ये डिस्क्लोज करा. सो डोंट ऍडजस्ट द बिल्डिंग व्हॅल्यू इन द बॅलन्स शीट. जर तुमची फॅक्टरी बिल्डिंग जळली आहे पण नोट मध्ये दाखवा. तर नेक्स्ट इयर तुम्ही ऍडजस्ट करा, या वर्षी नाही करायचं. थोडी नवीन गोष्ट झाली. हा, ऍट द सेम टाइम गोईंग कन्सर्न पण आहे का बघा. तर तुझी एकच फॅक्टरी आणि ती सगळी जळून गेली तर मग कदाचित गोईंग कन्सर्न पण अफेक्ट होऊ शकतो. रेकॉग्निशन अँड मेजरमेंट ऑफ ऍडजस्टिंग इव्हेंट्स. ऍडजस्टिंग इव्हेंट्स मध्ये जास्त प्रश्न येईल, कारण त्याच्यामध्ये जास्त ऍडजस्टमेंट्स येतात. नावच ऍडजस्टिंग इव्हेंट आहे. An entity shall adjust the amounts recognized in its financial statement. So you will have to adjust, you have to change the financial statements to reflect the adjusting events after the reporting period. So adjusting events now the adjusting is, so you have to adjust the statement. So make changes in the statement. So for example, आता डेटरचं एक्झाम्पल दिलं की डेटर बँकरप्ट झाला, तर मग तुम्ही ते राईट ऑफ करा बॅड डेट म्हणून, तिकडे त्या स्टेटमेंट्स मध्ये चेंज करा किंवा प्रोव्हिजन वाढवा. एक्झाम्पल्स, a case is going on between ABC and GST department. ABC आणि GST डिपार्टमेंट मध्ये केस चालू आहे ऑन क्लेमिंग सम एक्झेम्पशन फॉर द इयर 1-2. केस चालू आहे, तो वर्षभर आपल्याला माहिती आहे केस चालू आहे. सो इट इज समथिंग दॅट वी ऑलरेडी नो. द कोर्ट हॅज इश्यूड द ऑर्डर ऑन 15 एप्रिल 2002 अँड रिजेक्टेड द क्लेम. म्हणजे आपल्याला काय एक्झेम्पशन मिळणार नाही, आपल्याला पैसे भरायला लागतील जीएसटीचे. अकॉर्डिंगली द कंपनी इज लायबल टू पे द ऍडिशनल टॅक्स. The financial statements of the company for the year 1-2 have been approved on 15th May. So लक्षात घ्या, 1-2 वर केस चालू होती, म्हणजे वी ऑलरेडी न्यू द कंडिशन्स existed, म्हणजे वी ऑलरेडी न्यू दॅट समथिंग दॅट केस वॉज पेंडिंग. 15 एप्रिलला कळलं क्लिअर आणि 15 मे ला अप्रूव्ह झाले. सो ऑब्व्हियसली ह्याच्यामध्ये क्रिएट अ प्रोव्हिजन इन युअर स्टेटमेंट्स फॉर द जीएसटी ड्यू. ऍडजस्टिंगच म्हणता येणार ना ह्याच्यात, कारण ऑलरेडी यू न्यू अबाउट इट आणि 15 एप्रिलला जस्ट एक ऍडिशनल इन्फॉर्मेशन मिळालं अबाउट समथिंग वी ऑलरेडी न्यू. Should the company account for the tax in the year 1-2? Yes. Or should it account for the same in 2-3? म्हणजे नेक्स्ट इयरच, कारण एप्रिल मध्ये कळलंय नाही, 1-2 मध्येच ऍडजस्ट करायचं, कारण अजून अप्रूव्हल व्हायचं ना. आणि ऍडजस्टिंग इव्हेंट आहे, कारण इट इज समथिंग दॅट यू ऑलरेडी न्यू, maybe you were expecting also. An event after the reporting period is an adjusting event if it provides evidence of a condition existing at the end of the reporting period. So clearly in this case it is providing evidence of a condition existing at the condition was the case that was pending. Evidence, additional evidence is the court order. Here this condition is satisfied. Court order received after the reporting period provides evidence of the liability existing at the end of the reporting period. So there was always a liability existing. Therefore the event will be considered as an adjusting event and accordingly amounts will be adjusted in the statement. We create a provision for GST payable. Next example. While preparing its statements for the year ended 31st March 2001, XYZ made a general provision for bad debts 5% of its debtors. Normally, they create a 5% provision on its debtors for the year ended 31st March. Every year they must be creating. In the last week of Feb, that is before the March date 2001, a debtor of rupees 2 lakhs had suffered heavy loss due to earthquake, like my example. So in February, you knew कि अरे अपना एक debtor है, he had suffered a huge loss. The loss was not covered by any insurance policy. Neither he got any claim. So definitely it is irrecoverable loss. Generally, when such thing happens, then they go bankrupt. Considering the event of earthquake, XYZ made a provision of 50% of the amount receivable from that debtor, apart from general provision of 5% on remaining debtors. So when they came to know about this in February, they automatically created a provision for doubtful debts on him of 50%. So just on him, they created a provision of 50% because they expected that he will not be able to pay. And the remaining debtors, they kept it at 5%. So already they knew something was going to happen. So the year ended 31st March. Then in April 2001, the debtor became bankrupt. Additional evidence. Can XYZ provide for the full loss arising out of insolvency of the debtor in the financial statements for the year ended 31st March? Yes. Adjusting, definitely adjusting. Would the answer be different if earthquake had taken place after 31st March? Then not adjusting, because on 31st March we didn't have a clue that this was going to happen. So the event took place after 31st March, then non-adjusting. But if it is material, then disclose in the notes. Don't adjust the debtor balances. And therefore, XYZ did not make any specific provision in the context that a debtor of that debtor and made only provision of 5%. So they didn't know. So they had not created a normal provision of 5%. They never created a provision of 50%. Non-adjusting, because they never had an idea. As per definition of events after the reporting period and para 8 of India's 10, events after the reporting period, financial statement should be adjusted for events occurring after the reporting period that provide evidence of conditions that existed at the end of the reporting period. So in the first case, definitely it is there because they already knew about the earthquake on February. In the instant case, the earthquake took place before the end of the reporting period, that is in February. Therefore, the condition exists at the end of the reporting date, though the debtor is declared insolvent after the reporting period. So the declaration of insolvency is just an additional evidence that we already knew that was going to happen. Accordingly, full provision for bad debts amounting to 2 lakhs should be made to cover the loss arising due to bankruptcy of the debtor in the financial statements for the year ended 31st March 2001. We write off the bad debt straight away. Since provision for bad debts on account of amount due from the particular debtor was 50%, XYZ should provide for the remaining amount. So additional 50% also they can provide as a consequence of declaration of this debtor as bankrupt, because nothing is going to be received from him. Now, in case the earthquake had taken place after the end of the reporting period, that is after 31st March, and XYZ had not made any specific provision for the debtor who was declared bankrupt later on. Since the earthquake occurred after the end of the reporting period, no condition existed at the end of the reporting period. The company had made only general provision for bad debts in ordinary business course and not to recognize the catastrophic situation from an earthquake. Accordingly, bankruptcy of the debtor in the case is a non-adjusting because they didn't have any clue. It's a new event automatically or totally, you can say. If non-adjusting events after the reporting period are material, but if it is material, if it's a huge balance, non-disclosure could influence the economic decisions that users make on the basis of financial statements. So if it's material, disclose it in the notes because that can affect the economic decisions of the users of statements. Accordingly, an entity shall disclose the following for each material category of non-adjusting events after the reporting period. So if even it's non-adjusting but it's material, disclose in the notes the nature of the event and estimate of its financial effect. What is the effect? What is the loss we'll be bearing? Or if you are not able to estimate the loss, statement should be made that we are not estimating the loss or we cannot estimate the loss. Statement that such estimate cannot be made. If the amount of bad debt is considered to be material, the nature of this non-adjusting event, that is event of bankruptcy of debtor, should disclose along with the estimated financial effect on this of the same in the financial statement. So in the notes you can disclose. Now, especially in case of closing stock inventories that appear in the balance sheet, generally, what is the value of closing stock? Normally, the rule is we value the inventories at lower of cost or NRV, whichever is less. That is the rule. The inventories are always valued at cost or net realizable value, whichever is less. So how do we understand the net realizable value? Normally, it is understood from the price or the sale that happens after the reporting period. So for example, if I want to value the inventory at cost or NRV, whichever is less, on 31st March 2002, I will see at what is the selling price of the inventory in April. That will give me a good estimate of the NRV of the inventory. So that is the closest date. Generally, the price at which the inventory is sold in April is taken to calculate the inventory value. That is the NRV. Let's see the example. Entity A values its inventory at cost or NRV, whichever is less. NRV is the price at which the inventory can be sold in the market. Entity A has 10 pieces of item A in its stock at the year end. Each item costs 500. So cost is 500. All these items are sold subsequently, but before the date of approval of the statements for the reporting period, 450 per piece. So they are sold in the period after the reporting date, before the approval, at 450. So 450 must be the NRV. So we normally value at cost or NRV, whichever is less. So we have to value the 10 pieces at 450. The sale of inventories after the reporting period normally provides evidence about their NRV at the end of the reporting period. That is a good evidence of the NRV. A company has an inventory of 100 finished cars on 31st March, which are having a cost of 4 lakhs. So they have 100 cars of 4 lakh each. That is the cost. On 30th April, as per the new government rules, higher road tax and penalties are to be paid by the buyers for such cars. They have levied additional taxes, which were already expected to come, and hence the selling price of the car has come down and the demand for such cars has dropped drastically. So as the demand has dropped, the prices have been reduced. The selling price has come down to 3 lakhs. This is the NRV. The financial statements of the company for the year 1-2 are not yet approved. Should the company value its stock at 4 lakhs each or 3 lakhs each? Obviously 3 lakhs. NRV is 3 lakhs. So 30th April, the government has passed the rule. Still the statements are to be approved. So this is an event that has happened after the reporting period. And for valuing stock, generally you consider the NRV based on that data only. So 3 lakhs clearly. Cost is 4 lakhs, 3 lakhs is NRV, whichever is less. So 3 lakhs. So events after the reporting period provide evidence about NRV of the cars at the end of the reporting period. And therefore the amount of 3 lakhs should be considered for the valuation of stock. So that is how you value. So adjust the value. Now see an example. Generally, these are sales that are taking place, or sale of assets especially, which are taking place near the end of the reporting period. Normally what happens, if you sell an asset in March and you might receive the money in April or May, so that time you know how much money you got for the sale. Or same for purchase. I purchased an asset in March, but supplier is yet to bill me. He billed me in April or May before the approval. Obviously adjusting events. A sale of an asset took place in March 2002. However, the actual consideration was determined and collected after 31st March. That is on 10th May. Date of approval of statements was 15th May. So I sold an asset and the final consideration that I would be receiving was finally concluded on 10th May. Clearly, the sale took place before the reporting period. That is, at the end of the reporting period, I knew that this condition is existing. I got additional evidence on 10th May, adjusting event. So in such situation, sale value recognized in the books of as on 31st March should be adjusted. So I will be recording some sale of asset in the book, but maybe on estimation basis. So when on 10th May, I finally understood that this is the amount I got, final amount, I'll make the adjustments. ABC Limited has purchased a new machine. It can be for purchase also. ABC Limited has purchased a new machinery on 1-2 in the year 1-2. The asset was finally installed and made ready for use on 15th March. However, the company involved in the installation, that is my supplier, the company involved in installation and training, which was also the supplier, has not yet submitted the final bills of the same. The supplier company sent the bills on 10th April when the statements were not yet approved. Should the company adjust the amount of capitalization in the year 1-2 or in 2-3? Obviously 1-2. As per provisions of the contract, the cost of installation and training of new machines is an integral part of the cost of asset purchase. So installation and training of new machines also we capitalize the cost. Therefore, even if the details are available after the reporting period, they provide proof about the circumstances that existed at the end of the reporting period. Therefore, the cost of installation and training will be considered for capitalization in the year 1-2. So here they are saying that maybe you purchased the asset, you paid for the asset, but the installation and training cost bill is still to be received. So that is received on 10th April. Obviously adjusting because normally you capitalize that. Non-adjusting events. Accounting treatment and disclosure of non-adjusting events after the reporting period. An entity shall not adjust amounts recognized in its financial statements to reflect non-adjusting events after the reporting period. So we don't adjust these events. So basically, non-adjusting events are what? Which are non-adjusting events are basically events which are not coming under adjusting events. So you already know what is adjusting events. Okay. So any event other than that is non-adjusting. So don't adjust simply. And if it is material, disclose in the notes. Going concern, very important concept. Even there is a auditing standard on this. An entity shall not prepare its statements on going concern basis if management determines after the reporting period either that it intends to liquidate the entity or to cease trading, or it has no realistic alternative but to do so. So first of all, the logic is simple. If you are not going to be a going concern in the next year, this year though has ended, okay, but maybe next year you are not going to be a going concern. You are ceasing to trade, or you are stopping your business, or you don't have any basic alternative only because you are lost your business, or there is a calamity that has struck. Then don't present your statements as if it is a going concern. Use a different base of accounting. Deterioration in operating results, continuous losses, and financial position after the reporting period may indicate a need to consider whether the going concern assumption is still appropriate. Sometimes, once the reporting period is over, 31st March is over, a major loss happens to the entity. You lose a client, earthquake strikes, fire happens. It deteriorates your operating results, it deteriorates your position. So that can affect the going concern assumption, or a government changes the rule. If the going concern assumption is no longer appropriate, so because of an event that took place after the reporting period, the going concern assumption is no longer appropriate. The effect is so pervasive, that is so severe, that this standard requires a fundamental change in the base of accounting rather than an adjustment to the amounts recognized within the original base of accounting. They say present your accounts in a different way only. Only they are present on liquidation basis, as if all the liabilities are current, all the assets are valued at its current value, as if they will be sold immediately and liabilities will be paid immediately. Ind AS 1 also specifies required disclosures if the statements are not prepared on going concern basis, or management is aware of some material uncertainties related to events or conditions that may affect the going concern assumption. So that we saw in Ind AS 1 also. The going concern approach has a lot of importance in statements because that is the fundamental assumption, that statements that the entity is a going concern. If not, please disclose that. And first of all, change your accounting also. The going concern approach can be applied if and only if the entity has intention to continue operations. The carrying amount of the assets and carrying amount of liabilities will be much different if the entity has plans to go into liquidation. The value of assets and liabilities will change because you will take the current values. Now, what is the actual values? If you sell the assets immediately, what are the values? If you pay the liabilities immediately, what will be the amount you will be paying? Company XYZ Limited was formed to secure tenders floated by telecom company for publication of telephone directories. So they were basically publishers of telephone directories. Nowadays, though, it is totally outdated telephone directory. Earlier, there were a lot of telephone directories. So these guys were used to bid for tenders by telecom companies to make telephone directories. It backed the tender for publishing directories for Pune Circle for 5 years. So it backed the tender for publishing directories for Pune Circle for 5 years. So it got tender of 5 years in the Pune. It had made a profit in 2001 to 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. So 4 years they made a good profit. We are in the last year of the earlier tender. It bid in tenders for publication of directories for other circles also, Nagpur, Nashik, Mumbai, Hyderabad. But as per the result declared on 23rd April 2005, so that is after this year, we are in the year 2, 3, 4, 5. So after this year, 23rd April, the bidding results were opened and the company failed to bag any of these. So we didn't get any of the bid here. It's only activity. So what is happening here? की आवर पुणे सर्कल वाला जो बिड आहे ते टेंडर आहे ते संपत आलंय त्याच्या लास्ट इयर मध्ये. ऍट द सेम टाइम नवीन आपल्याला कुठेच मिळालं नाहीये काम. इट्स ओनली ऍक्टिव्हिटी टिल डेट इज पब्लिकेशन ऑफ पुणे डिरेक्टरी. आतापर्यंत एकच आपल्याला हे मिळाले आणि ते पण आता संपत आलंय. द कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट फॉर पब्लिकेशन ऑफ डिरेक्टरीज फॉर पुणे विल एक्सपायर ऑन 31st December. So this will expire maybe in 9 months. Or and then the statements for the financial year 4-5 have been approved by the board on 10 July. So आपला रिझल्ट आला 23rd एप्रिलला की आपल्याला हे एकही बिड मिळालं नाहीये आणि 10 जुलैला आपण अप्रूव्ह केलं. ते म्हणतात की वेदर इट इज अप्रोप्रिएट टू प्रिपेअर स्टेटमेंट्स ऑन गोइंग कन्सर्न. आता मॅनेजमेंट हॅव टू अनालाइज की आपल्याला काहीच काम मिळत नाहीये. 5 वर्षात आपल्याला फक्त पुण्यातच काम मिळालं, ते पण आता संपत आलंय. ते रिन्यू पण काही होणार नाही आणि नवीन कुठेच आपल्याला काम मिळत नाही. सो मे बी वी आर नॉट अ गोइंग कन्सर्न. इफ यू आर नॉट, देन चेंज द अकाउंटिंग. An entity shall not prepare its statements on going concern basis if management determines after the reporting period either that it intends to liquidate the entity, so either that's the intention liquidation say, or to cease trading, or it has no realistic alternative but to do so. So maybe या केस मध्ये they don't have any alternative because काम करायचं जेवण मिळत नाहीये. Deterioration in operating results and position after the reporting period may indicate a need to consider whether going concern assumption is still appropriate. If the going concern assumption is no longer appropriate, the effect is so pervasive that this standard requires fundamental change in accounting rather than an adjustment to the amounts recognized with the original base of accounting. So इथे adjustment चा काही उपयोग नाही, इथे पूर्ण तुम्ही accounting change करा. In accordance with the above and disclose basically you are not a going concern. So in 2004 disclose you are not a going concern. In accordance with the above, an entity needs to change the basis of accounting if the effect of deterioration in the operating results and financial position is so pervasive that management determines after the reporting period either that it intends to liquidate the entity or to cease trading, or it has no realistic alternative but to do so. In the instant case, since contract is expiring on 31st December and it is confirmed on 23rd April, that is after the end of the reporting period and before the approval of statements, that no further contract is secured, implies that entity's operations are expected to come to an end. Accordingly, if the entity's operations are expected to come to an end, the management is conclude केलं की हो आता ह्याच्या पुढे आपल्याला काम मिळणं कठीण आहे. The entity needs to make a judgment as to whether it has any realistic possibility to continue or not. In case the entity determines that it has no realistic alternative of continuing the business, preparation of the statements for 2004-5 and thereafter on going concern basis may not be appropriate. So या वर्षी आणि नेक्स्ट इयर वगैरे तुम्ही जरी पण कंटिन्यू केलं गोइंग कन्सर्न बनवू नका, कारण मे बी यू विल बी आता जरी पण तुमचा कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट डिसेंबर पर्यंत आहे, डिसेंबर 5, सो मे बी 4-5 आणि 5-6 पर्यंत तुम्ही कदाचित कंटिन्यू कराल, त्याच्यानंतर मे बी यू विल नॉट बी कंटिन्यू. आतापासूनच गोइंग कन्सर्न सांगू नका मग काउंटिंग. आता बघा, in the plant of PQR Limited, there was a fire on 10th May 2001, in which the entire plant was damaged and loss was 40 lakhs is estimated. The claim with the insurance company has been filed and recovery of 27 lakh is expected. The statements for the year ending 31st March 2001 were approved by the board of directors on 12 June. So बघा, 31st March 2001 ला वर्ष संपलंय, 10th May ला प्लांट जळून गेलं, इन्शुरन्स क्लेम मिळतोय थोडा. Statements were approved on 12 June. So that clearly it is an event happening after the reporting period. But the thing is, this is a non-adjusting event. कारण तुम्हाला माहिती नव्हतं ना की 31st मार्चला आग लागणार आहे. तो नॉन ऍडजस्टिंग मग डिस्क्लोज करायला लागेल मटेरियल. ऍट द सेम टाइम गोईंग कन्सर्न आहे का बघायला लागेल. कारण तुमचा सपोज एकच प्लांट आहे, तुम्ही बिझनेस कंटिन्यू करू शकणार आहात की नाही ते पण आहे. In the instant case, since fire took place after the end of the reporting period, it is a non-adjusting event. And it was never a condition that existed on the balance sheet date. However, in accordance with para 21 of India's 10, disclosures regarding non-adjusting events should be made in the statements, that is notes मध्ये. That is the nature of event and expected effect of the same. So we can show की आग लागली आणि इतका डॅमेज झाला, 40 लाखाचा लॉस झाला, पण 27 लाखचा क्लेमही आला. With regard to going concern basis followed for the preparation of statements, the company needs to determine whether it is appropriate to prepare the statements on going concern basis. Since there is only one plant, assume करा एकच plant है, which has been damaged due to fire, if the effect of the deterioration in operating results and financial position is so pervasive, the management determines after the reporting period either that it intends to liquidate the entity or cease trading, or it has no realistic alternative but to do so. Preparation of statements for year 01 on going concern assumption may not be appropriate. In that case, the statements have to be prepared on other than going concern basis. However, if the going concern assumption is considered to be appropriate even after the fire, no adjustment is required in the statement. आता 27 lakhs आले आणि त्यांच्याकडे अजून पैसे आहेत, they might buy another plant or construct another plant and they are going to continue, then there is no problem. But after this इतका severe setback आहे की they are not able to continue again, they are not able to revive the business, तर मग going concern assumption wrong आहे. तसं आहे. डिव्हिडंड. आता डिव्हिडंड फ्रॉम द कंपनी पर्स्पेक्टिव्ह कसं माहिती आहे, कंपनी पर्स्पेक्टिव्ह नॉर्मली कसं असतं, वर्ष संपतं. सपोज आता हे वर्ष आहे 1920, हे वर्ष आहे संपलं, हे संपलं वर्ष 1920, 31st March 2020 संपलं. जनरली वर्षाच्या नंतर once the statements are ready, मग बोर्ड रेकमेंड्स अ डिव्हिडंड बेस्ड ऑन व्हॉट प्रॉफिट यू मेड ड्युरिंग द इयर, आणि मग शेअर होल्डर्स ते अप्रूव्ह करतात इन द एजीएम. ठीक आहे. सो डिव्हिडंड कधी डिक्लेअर होतो जनरली किंवा रेकमेंड होतो आफ्टर द एंड ऑफ द रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड. सो ऍज ऑन 31st March 2020 डिव्हिडंडचा काही जिकर नाहीये. जे काय होतंय आफ्टर द रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड होते, नवीनच होते. सो इट इज नॉट रिलेटेड टू एनी कंडिशन दॅट एक्झिस्टेड ऑन द रिपोर्टिंग डेट. सो त्याच्यामुळे डिव्हिडंड आर नॉन ऍडजस्टिंग. डिव्हिडंड आर नॉन ऍडजस्टिंग. नोट मध्ये लिहा आणि बेसिकली नेक्स्ट इयरच्या स्टेटमेंट मध्ये ऍडजस्ट करा. या वर्षाच्या नाही, कारण वर्षाच्या नंतर झालेलं आहे आणि इट इज नॉट रिलेटेड टू एनी कंडिशन और neither it is providing any evidence about any condition that existed on the balance sheet date. If an entity declares dividend to holders of equity instruments, that is equity shares, after the reporting period, the entity shall not recognize those dividends as liability at the end of the reporting period. So as the end of the reporting period, balance sheet ला काय liability नव्हतीच ती, नंतर झालं डिक्लेअर. सो there was nothing that existed on the balance sheet date. जरी पण कंपनीची प्रॅक्टिस आहे की दरवर्षी देतात डिव्हिडंड, पण तरी पण वी विल से की एंड ऑफ द रिपोर्टिंग पिरियड 31st मार्चला काय डिव्हिडंडचा जिकर नव्हता, नंतरच झाला ना. Dividends, if dividends are declared after the reporting period but before the statements are approved for the issue, the dividends are not recognized as liability at the end of the reporting period because no obligation exists at that time. 31st March ला काय obligation नव्हतं. Such dividends are disclosed in the notes in accordance with India's 1 presentation of statement. The crux of difference between adjusting event and non-adjusting event depends on the fact whether the event provides evidence of existence of condition at the end of the reporting period or not. Dividend doesn't satisfy any condition. Dividend is totally new thing that happens. हा, पण आता ह्याच्यामध्ये ना एक गोष्ट लक्षात ठेवा, हे इक्विटी डिव्हिडंडच्या केसमध्ये होऊ शकते. प्रेफरन्स डिव्हिडंडच्या केसमध्ये कसं असतं, प्रेफरन्स डिव्हिडंड इज बेसिकली लाईक अ इंटरेस्ट ओनली. मला माहिती आहे दरवर्षी भरायलाच पाहिजे. इक्विटीचं कसं असतं की दिला नाही दिला डिपेंड ऑन द प्रॉफिट्स ऑफ द इयर. तर जनरली ते तुम्हाला वर्षाच्या एंडलाच कळतं, वर्षाच्या एंडच्या नंतर कळतं मे बी, की जेव्हा तुम्ही ऍक्च्युली स्टेटमेंट्स बनवता तेव्हा बोर्ड जेव्हा अप्रूव्ह करतं तेव्हा त्यांना कळतं की हा यावर्षी एवढा प्रॉफिट आहे, याच्यावर आपण एवढा डिक्लेअर करू, डिव्हिडंड रेकमेंड करू. प्रेफरन्स डिव्हिडंडचं कसं आहे की तुम्हाला द्यायलाच पाहिजे, इट इज लाईक अ इंटरेस्ट ऍक्च्युली. सो प्रेफरन्स डिव्हिडंड इज लाईक म्हणजे प्रेफरन्स शेअर होल्डर्स आर काइंड ऑफ लोन ओनली. त्या केसमध्ये तुम्ही असं नाही म्हणू शकत की कंडिशन डिडंट एक्झिस्ट ऍट द बॅलन्स शीट डेट. तो माहिती होतं, बिकॉज वेन यू इश्यू प्रेफरन्स शेअर्स यू टेल देम की 10% प्रेफरन्स शेअर्स आहेत, म्हणजे एव्हरी इयर विल पेइंग यू 10%. तर मग ते ऍडजस्टिंग आहेत. इनफॅक्ट यू हॅव टू प्रोव्हाइड फॉर दॅट. ABC Limited declares dividend on 15 July 2002 as the results for the year 1-2 as well as quarter 1 ending 30th June are better than expected. So 1-2 चा रिझल्ट खूप छान होता फायनान्शियल इयर. क्वार्टर 1 चा पण रिझल्ट चांगला होता, म्हणून ते डिक्लेअर केलं डिव्हिडंड त्याने ऑन 15 जुलै. The statements of the company approved on 28th July for the financial year 31st March 2002, that is this year. Will the dividend be accounted for in the financial year 2002-3? नेक्स्ट इयर अकाउंट करूया, or will it be accounted in this year only? Obviously 2-3. या वर्षी काही इफेक्ट नाही, फक्त नोट. The dividend is declared in 2-3. Therefore, obligation towards dividend did not exist at the end of the reporting period. So, या दिवशी काही डेट obligation नव्हतंच. Therefore, it will be accounted for in the year 2-3 only and not in 1-2. Even if the statements for 1-2 were approved after declaration of dividend. And it doesn't provide evidence about any condition that existed on this date. It will however be disclosed in the notes in the statements of year 1 because material है तो disclose करें. What would be the treatment for dividends declared to redeemable preference shareholders after the reporting period, but before the statements are approved for issue for the year 1-2? Whether Ind AS 10 prescribes any accounting treatment for such dividends? Actually, Ind AS 10 doesn't prescribe. ओके, त्यांनी फक्त इक्विटीसाठी सांगितलंय, त्याच्यासाठी त्याने काय म्हटलंच नाही. पण लॉजिकली यू शुड प्रोव्हाइड बिकॉज प्रेफरन्स डिव्हिडंड इज लाईक अ लोन ओनली. Ind AS 10 prescribes accounting treatment for dividend declared to holders of equity instruments. If an entity declares dividend to holders of equity instruments after the reporting period, the entity shall not recognize those dividends as liability at the end of the reporting period. हे आपण आताच बघितलं. However, Ind AS 10 does not prescribe accounting treatment for dividends declared to redeemable preference shareholders. And normally preference shares are redeemable only. Irredeemable allowed us नाहीये. Because you have to redeem them. But it's like a loan only, ना? Because fixed तुम्हाला dividend द्यायचा आहे वगैरे. As per Ind AS 32, financial instruments presentation, a preference share that provides for mandatory redemption by the issuer for a fixed or determinable amount at a fixed or determinable future date, or gives the holder the right to require the issuer to redeem the instrument at or after the particular date for a fixed or determinable amount is a financial liability. Basically, redeemable preference shares are a financial liability only. बिकॉज तुम्हाला ते रिडीम करायचे आहेत 5 वर्षाने किंवा 6 वर्षाने. मग तो राईट इश्युअरकडे असू दे किंवा बायरकडे असू दे. Thus, dividend payment to such preference shares are recognized as expense in the same way as interest on a bond. तर तो डिव्हिडंड पण इंटरेस्ट सारखा तुम्हाला अक्रू करायला लागेल, कारण तो ड्यू होतोच. सिन्स द इंटरेस्ट विल बी चार्ज ऑन टाइम बेसिस, जे अक्रू होत जाईल. The requirements of Ind AS 10 regarding date of declaration of dividend not relevant for this declaration. तो हे तुम्ही अक्रू करत जाल बिकॉज ही लायबिलिटी आहे तुमची, आणि इट्स लाईक अ लोन ओनली, इट्स अ फायनान्शियल लायबिलिटी. तुम्ही इंटरेस्ट जसा अक्रू तसंच प्रेफरन्स डिव्हिडंड पण तसा अक्रू करत जाईल. The chapter is over. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 हे सम्स होमवर्क आहेत. ओके, हे तुम्हाला येतील. आता मार्किंग करा. ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह 2.2, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4.1 with example. Illustration 1, solution. 2, solution. 3, solution. 2.5, 2.6, first para, heading and first para. Then illustration 4, illustration 5, illustration 6, and before illustration 6, write the example also. Example and illustration 6. Illustration 7. Also write the example before that. So 6 and 7 with examples. Two point seven first para. Going concern 2.8.2. 4 paras. Four paras. Illustration 8. 9. Then 2.9. Dividends 3 paras. 10, 11. That's it. And then 9 sums in exercise. Total 20 sums are there. Okay. So we have finished this standard. Any doubts? Very light and easy standard. But you can expect a 4-mark question on this. क्या डाउट है? समझ ले? Okay, great. Fine. Okay. उद्या भेटू. उद्या आय थिंक आपला पहिला मॉड्यूल संपेल. ओके. सो उद्या विल कंटिन्यू. चलो बाय बाय. टेक केअर.
Okay.
या बाय.